Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. Today we're continuing the series on the MiSTer FPGA DE10 Nano project. I got a fun and exciting video for you guys this evening because we're going to be doing some retro remake SuperStation 1 updates. Taki Udon has let a lot of people know new details about the SuperStation 1 project on Twitter, so we're going to be talking about all of those, from the case design to the fact that it can now read games from disk without dumping them, and a ton of other features. And it's going to be awesome when this thing comes out. And if you're not familiar with the project, basically it's a MiSTer FPGA in a console design on a custom PCB with a ton of new features that the standard triple stack MiSTer FPGA does not support. So it's going to basically be like a MiSTer FPGA with a ton of kind of extra bonus features included within, but honestly I know a lot of people want that console design, and SuperStation 1 is definitely going to be delivering that. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But there's been a ton of new updates as far as SuperStation 1 is concerned in like the last month or so. So I've been kind of saving them all up to do one master video because PlayStation 1's incredible, and it's going to be really fun when we get SuperStation 1. I'll definitely be doing a review. So right off the top, Taki Udon was talking about the different case designs and actually showing off a video of those prototypes in hand, so you can kind of get a sense of the overall size and scope of the case, what it's going to look like minus the logo, which was apparently a factory mistake. And having a lot of experience in injection molding when I worked at Burton Snowboards in the goggles and sunglass department, honestly, getting these things right the first, second, or even third time is never going to happen. These things take multiple rounds of revisions. But you'll see here on the SuperStation 1, not the CD-ROM dock, you can hold the object in your hand, you can turn it over, and we get a good sense of the overall size of it, unless Taki Udon somehow has shack-size hands, and I'm just not aware of that fact, but I would assume his hand's probably pretty average size, not shack size. But as far as the overall case is concerned, it's looking really nice, and obviously this is coming along because once you're at this stage, you are kind of getting into that fitment stage, just trying to get all the engineering buttoned up. And again, this thing is still targeting Q3, but I'll get into that in a moment. And if you're not familiar with the MiSTer FPGA project, this is not just going to play PlayStation 1 games in FPGA. It will work with every single FPGA core that exists on MiSTers at N64, Sega Saturn, a metric crap ton of arcade cores, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Honestly, the list could go on and on, but I get that question every single video. Is this only for PlayStation 1 games? And it is absolutely not. If you see it run on MiSTer FPGA, it will run on the SuperStation 1 the same way that everything that ran on MiSTer FPGA ran on Taki Udon and Retro Remake MiSTer Pi. So just keep that in mind. It is a full fat MiSTer FPGA with additional bonus features that are specific to the SuperStation 1, not exclusively just a PlayStation 1 FPGA console, which is awesome. And you'll see here Taki Udon also updated people and showed that he was testing actually getting games to load from CD versus dumping them, and that it is slightly slower, but it is working. Now the dump is going to be a one-time thing. If you just copy it over, the disk basically works as the identifier to load up that dump file, but again, this is streaming in real time. You'll see here on the options menu on the MiSTer FPGA main menu, there is a launch CD option on the SuperStation 1, and this is real time loading up a game. It's not going to be the most exciting footage, but it's good to run it in real time so you can see exactly how long it takes. Now as far as how quick this would be compared to a real PlayStation 1 console, that would be something that I would test when the SuperStation 1 arrives to tell you if you do want to stream off the disc. Is it going to be par with PlayStation 1? Is it going to be slightly faster or slower? My guess would be it would be slightly faster just because it is a modern part reading that disc, and obviously PlayStation 1 lasers can be very finicky these days. I've got two different PlayStation 1 consoles, both of which have CD reading issues, and I'm going to be switching out to optical disc emulators soon. But obviously just a black screen. We come into Final Fantasy here, hit continue, select the slot, and this again in real time on the capture is going to be how long it takes to get into the game. So it is a really good bit of information just showing you that this can be done and kind of the overall speed of how long it's going to take. So that's definitely exciting, and I can't wait to see this thing loading up real discs because that's something we never thought MiSTer would be able to do. And if we just take a look at the case here, one of the older mock-ups, it's going to be really fun to have this next to your television. And if you have no interest whatsoever in loading up original discs, that disc dock on the bottom is completely not essential. That is an add-on part. So it's one of those things, if you didn't get that on pre-order, if you don't buy it once this thing goes to general stock, it still does the exact same thing. This is just if you actually want to read CDs, if you want to put an SSD drive in the bottom of the dock so you can store more games. So just keep that in mind as well. It's a fun bonus feature, definitely one I'm excited to check out, but it is not essential to the operation of the SuperStation 1 in any way, shape, or form, and is not an essential purchase to get it running in your house. Now, as far as when this is shipping, it was always sold with a Q3 anticipated launch date, and Taki Udon states via a question that is still the goal. So obviously Q3 will be July, August, and September. July's already passed, so we know that's not happening. So hopefully this is out the door and maybe in your hands by the end of September. But again, the industry right now across many different facets gets delays all the time with so many different issues. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe it slips a few weeks, and I wouldn't be worried about that whatsoever. And you'll see here somebody also asked if you can dump the games via the dock on SuperStation 1. You 100% can. You can also apparently hook that dock up to a computer and just have a little bit higher bandwidth to be able to dump your games. So you're going to be able to have multiple ways to use this thing. Apparently it'll spin up and read from real disks. So you can dump them directly on the SuperStation 1 console, and you can also do it on PC. And again, you are getting a new UI for MiSTer FPGA on the SuperStation 1 side of things. I think that's been one of the most requested features in comments. For me personally, I have no issues whatsoever with the current MiSTer FPGA UI. It might not be pretty, but it gets the job done, and it doesn't really interfere with your enjoyment of it. But having a slightly nicer UI that still isn't cluttered will be a fun bonus for a lot of people that really want to treat this like that pure console experience. But again, it's going to be fun to see this case next to the television. You'll see here all the different colorways and the footprint of the original PlayStation 1, the mini console there. It basically has the exact same shape, the exact same curvature, but of course the buttons are different shapes on the retro remake SuperStation 1. And that logo in the middle right now is reflective, and I really like that, but apparently that's where the mistake from the factory came in. But I'd love to see a special edition with that reflective logo. It has a really fun look to it. But again, that's kind of subjective. You leave me a comment down below and you tell me what you think, because you'll see here somebody asked about the glitter logo, and that's going to be the definitive edition, or basically the final version of the design. And Taki states that the factory just made a mistake, and again, having dealt with injection molding in factories before, that stuff always happens. Now, one big update I hope no one ever needs to use, but it's awesome you're going to be able to do so. The SD card slot is now modular on a connector, so if anything goes wrong with that SD card slot whatsoever, you're going to be able to replace it. And Taki even updated some of these engineering drawings here overall for the spacing, and you'll see the connector on the top left hand corner there. And honestly, you do not want your SD card slot to go bad on MiSTer FPGA. If it's not reading the SD card slot, it's not booting the system, and it does nothing. And I really appreciate the overall design ethos of the SuperStation 1. Basically every single part in there that you might ever have to work on is going to be modular. So basically it's going to be plug and play replacement, whether it's something like the controller ports, the SD card, or otherwise. And while I don't anticipate anything going wrong with these things, honestly you never know what can happen. Maybe you have kids and they try to jam that micro SD card upside down and just basically force it in there, point it straight and give her. Those are the type of things that can happen, and I do appreciate that it's kind of been thought about to how to replace it if you actually need to. And one more update, and I'd love to see somebody try this, even though I don't really think it's essential, is that you can output an analog signal across every single analog port on the back of the SuperStation 1 and the side. So you can have 5 different video signals running, capturing it on televisions. And while I don't think that's going to be useful for many people, I'd say having at least 2 is a nice thing, because sometimes I will actually do that in captures, so I can use one signal for one direction and one signal for the gameplay direction. You leave me a comment down below and you tell me, is that anything you'd ever use? I would be really curious. But as far again as the modular design of this, I think it is an absolutely smart idea, because I have MiSTer FPGA's original Jurassic DE10 Nano board that can have slight issues depending on the SD card I put in there actually reading it. I'll basically have to pop it in 2-3 times for it to actually see correctly, for it to be able to read off the card. It's a pain in the ass when it happens, and it's something that I really like that you can actually change out on your own. But clearly the SuperStation 1 is getting closer to full manufacturing. You have these prototype cases right here that are very close to the final design outside of the logo, and this is kind of one of the final steps. You design the PCBs inside of the case, you design the case, and so long as the fitment's correct, your engineering's done and your case is ready, you send it all off to manufacturer in anticipation of shipping to your customers. So Taki Udon states that Q3 2025 is still the target date, so let's see how that goes in a couple months here, because it is just the beginning of August. We're not even halfway through Q3 as far as July, August, and September are concerned. But it's exciting to be getting more MiSTer FPGA consoles. We have the Multi-System 2 coming out in August, and it looks like we're going to have the SuperStation 1 coming soon. And hopefully after that, Taki Udon Retro Remake will work on the MiSTer FPGA handheld, because if there's one thing that I am more excited about than anything else on the horizon, it's a handheld MiSTer FPGA that I can take with me on the go. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Tell me what you think of the SuperStation 1, but we're done, and I'll see you guys next update video. Bye-bye.